this specific AI administration workflow is straightforward. Everybody can understand easily. That's a very important thing, right? So here we are not going to touching the sensitive data. I would say is a very thin layer. So we will take the data. We can do all the demonstration. So most of the time, actually, people used to do hospital management systems, right? Generally, people used to build the applications. Even actually, there are multiple the healthcare domains across the globe. They have a IT department. Earlier, before the AI, everybody has the set of 9 components in their space. So it's not a normal thing. But they never think about that radiology or patients or diagnostic things. All the things actually completely 100%. It's going to be only with the human, or like doctors, specialized doctors. But now the AI connecting with those sensitive areas as well, because those are unstructured data and giving a solution. So we are able to drive the solution for complex treatment for the various reasons. Okay, and just simple flow, upgrading new medical practices and degrading employee performance and information management, medical staff recruitment. So this is a normal flavor when we are working with administration workflow for healthcare industries, right? So we cannot exclude this specific station. Probably if you are planning to do something research and any other papers, or if anybody want to do the project and healthcare industries for administrative perspective, definitely you can take these use cases and you can work on that. Okay, so I would say that the classic example, people earlier, actually years back, so generally what we'll do, like we'll go to the hospital, just we'll give we'll get the number, we'll take the treatment. So recently, like 10 years back, if you go there, then people have started asking your name, age, all the information, and then they are putting on a physical file. And what they are doing, actually, they are keeping that, and they are asking when you are going to visiting the doctor, information, and the doctor's checking that and giving it back to you, right? So generally, when you're going to the eye hospital and all, that is a frequent one, but normal general checkup, even also they started implementing as a physical file. But it's the case of the other countries keeping that, and they have detailed about what are the treatment and for example, the doctors checking that and going for surgery. Basically, right? So generally, when you go into the eye hospital, even for hospital and all, that is a frequent one, but normal general checkup, even also they started implementing as a physical. So if I'm going back, it's the case of the other countries sitting the keeping that, and asking like, so what's your problem? What is the thing? So as usual, right? So immediately, I used to have some number. So that number, so he used to put that in system that will complete detail about what are the treatment, how many times actually visited the surgery, and what are the tablets and what drugs has been issued to me, right? So what are the any critical things happened to me, or what are how my complete history will be available for him to like give the new solutions. For example, what we used to do and what are the tablets, get the tablets, and we will get the what drugs has been doctor, right, to me, and then what we'll do. So what are the any critical things happened to me, or what are the how my complete history will be available for him, medical store, to like give the new solutions. For example, then we'll get what we used to do and what are the tablets, get the tablets, and we will get what drugs has been doctor, keep that to me, and then what will. So what are the any critical things happened to me, or what are the how my complete history will be available for him, medical store, to like give the new solutions. For example, then we'll get what we used to do and what are the tablets, get the tablets, and what drugs has been doctor to me, and then what will. So what are the any critical things happened to me, or what are the how my complete history will be available for him, medical store, to like give the new solutions. For example, tablets from this pharmacy, the nearest pharmacy. So they'll give the information. They'll so they like after 30 minutes you'll go and collect your your drugs over there. So immediately once like after that, he will say that I'm giving this the specific the tablets to like suppress your issues or whatever it is. So immediately after completing the consulting, so we have to walk in the pharmacy. So there we have to say, hey, so and so, I've been advised to collect the my drugs over here. So that is actually completely automated, and the people can go and get that the drugs in the specified pharmacy. We have to pay and we'll get the tablets, obviously. So we'll get the tablets, we started eating. And there is the chances of getting that the same prescription or same kind of tablets, showing the tablets, cover or pack and all, you can ask the things, it's not possible. So such a way, actually, the medical industry is completely packed. Injection policy perspective, so you cannot get the injection straight away. If you put in the injection, that's a very critical thing. Only they will put the injection. As I mentioned, where you're going for surgery for temporary, I mean like a temporary solution. So they'll give only prescription, only tablets. That too, actually, you have to collect the pharmacy. That's not given to you. If you're asking for put some injection and all, you have to go to the hospital. There's a big hospital. Then we have to get the injected. Then that will track. So such a way, actually, that healthcare industry is actually in other countries. So I hope that in India also is going to be similar fashions shortly. Okay. So with respect to the radiology and AI, radiology is one of the key field, as I mentioned earlier. So if you look at that, the X-rays, so as I mentioned here, so this kind of the different so I mean like with respect to the radiology and AI, to extract radiology is one of the key field, as I mentioned earlier. So if you look at that, the X-rays, so as I mentioned, and different so I mean like with respect to the radiology and AI, to extract radiology is some video so that you can understand better way. So how this helps. One of the key one of the key right. So with respect to this one, actually, the radiology and the outcome from this one is a very accuracy, right? And the doctor he has mentioned that AI doc is a famous what is that like the adoption product. So that helps to give the high quality X-rays, and it's not like a physical copy. If you want, make it as a physical one, and it's completely digitalized, so that even we have so many options over there. So probably you have get a chance to see that the options on the left hand side. So the radiologist or else it could be a doctors can scan through or through that, and they can find out what exactly the impact. At same time, and same time actually that images it'll give the complete plan and what kind of the impact for the cells or brain or whatever the X-rays, right? So that information is a self-explanatory. That's the reason actually the doctor has mentioned that, right? So the one point of time it's going to be like a very faster and giving you solutions with the help of this kind of the radiology, the new radiology techniques with the help of the AI. That's an amazing thing, because otherwise, like a diagnosing will take time, and we have to take the X-rays. We have to wait for some time, and then the X-rays to come. We have to take that to the doctor, and doctor has to be there, right? And doctor need to check that, and he needs to give that opinion, and he make like for second opinion with some other doctors. This is like all these the blockers will be reduced. I mean, like not reduced. This can be like eradicated, and so within like a fraction of a second, like after the patient has been undergone through the radiology, so that after the things actually immediately it will get to the picture, so they can give the problem they can start the the treatment as soon as possible, right? And same way for doctors, it's going to be like once this is done, then the vast quantity of information and imaging is available for them, so that the large percentage of administrative burden on doctors will be reduced, right? And the manipulating the data to convey the better information to the doctors straight away, right? When look at that, so even if it is giving that like everybody cannot become a doctor, that's fine. That is very important thing, because the terminology perspective, because actually even when I did that course, there are a lot of terminology we couldn't understand that as a technology from the techie perspective. So it's a combined effort. So they used to say this is so-called XYZ. Then we need to apply the technology. Then we can build that solution. Then outcome will come in the way, right? So that's what we used to say is a domain knowledge. Domain experts need to be there. So earlier we have to have only the domain experts in retail, manufacturing, etc., etc. Now the domain experts itself in healthcare is going to be what? It's going to be our doctors. That's it. Right. And diagnostic aids. So already we discussed about radiology as a key sensitive area. And before that one, we have like we need to diagnose how we are going to diagnose the diseases, right? So then only we can start the treatment. So the management of the treatment and medical perspective is very important. And same way, it's going to be like diagnosing the cancer, acute flag, abnormality, and critical triage. There's so many things actually we can find out from radiology quickly, as shown. What is that? That video. And then the same way, after we have diagnosed that one, and we can prioritize life-threatening cases, how we can deal. I mean, how we can, means doctors can deal that and predict the. It could be like a diagnosis of cardiac arrest or any strokes outcomes. So with the help of all this information, so the doctors can predicting so many things. Any questions? Hello? Yeah? I'm getting some noise. Any questions? Hello? If you have any questions, please, you can ask me, please. I'm getting some background noise as well. So if you're really interested to ask questions, feel free, like unmute yourself. You can ask questions, or otherwise kindly mute yourself. That will help a lot. Can someone help me? I'm getting the noise, background noise. Guys, please.
நான் இதுவே இப்பதான் வந்தேன் கேக்குது போன் பண்ணவா தீபன் கிட்ட கேக்குதுமா அப்புறம் இதை கொடுத்துட்டீங்க மேம் அதை கொடுத்துட்டீங்க மேம்னு வந்து நிக்கோங்க
Thank you. Right. So here actually it's a simple diagnosis aid like audio, like a cough audio pre-processing. So the terminology, the term would be like really like catching one. So this is basically to find out like even the lockdown period, like with the threatening the global threatened the disease, the COVID. So by the time actually there is a there is one of the what is that the major the healthcare product development company from Singapore. They have built the fantastic the thermal camera observing the like the human who is like coughing or take that information and diagnose that and can find out like what kind of issues he has and what's the criticality of his health, and everything will be captured, right? So this specific system is nothing but artificial intelligence AI repository illness diagnosis aid system. So that will give that complete idea of like a percentage of the COVID, and that flu, cold, and other details will be like clearly like diagnosed, and it will give the information. So here we have that the thermo camera, okay, and then we have a microphone and airflow sensors. Obviously, it's going to be IoT, so that by coughing the person, like you have to get the cough and information, and that has to be like captured using that device, right? And then it has been passed into through the internet, obviously, and we have the coughing database. So in the coughing database, actually, we are going to find out like a cough audio analysis as well as the cough segmentation and the detection things we need to do, and then we get out the outcome, whether it's actually how much percentage of the COVID has been impacted the person. So all these details we can extract, and we can give the solution, and we can give the treatment for the patients. So this specific equipment, it will give that the 3 different layers of this severity, the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So based on that, the amplitude here, so that the given that what is that like the severity of the patient. So the cloud is, I say here the cough sound structure. Look at this one. Actually, that's what I said. When AI started giving you solutions for unstructured data, right? Now this is nothing but our audio. So that one actually giving one is actually it's giving like what observing the audio, and with the help of the system, then we are diagnosing that like what kind of phases, either he is in the phase 1 or phase 2, phase 3. So that based on that we can understand the cough severity, and we can give the solution. So this has happened like this way, right? So it takes the data and sound onset detection, SNR calculation, right? Signal to noise ratio. These are actually the ECE perspective. So we'll take the data, and we'll find out that in communication systems, I remember I have studied this one. So probably you guys are on top of that. So you are familiar with this one. And extracting that cough detection algorithm, right? I mean, you need to find out the so many algorithm we can use. So is it not a cough or voice or background noise, whatever it is. So that will clearly indicate that whether it's a cough or not, right? So if it is cough, then it will be given to the future selection, because there are so many informations we need to get out that other. I've been like it's going to be a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and the criticality, and there might be noises. So from that, so we have to extract the future selection and labeling it, and we have to classify the cough classifiers. So after the class classifier, we can understand that it comes under the phase 1 or phase 2, phase 3. Then based on that, we can start the treatment, right? And a future selection perspective, this is going to be a severity level, right? How the things will be happen, like so the criticality. Probably this is one actually understood by the doctors very well. So based on their probably you understood that if you're familiar with Python, MATLAB, Matplotlib libraries. So there is one chart called heat map. So with the help of the heat map, you can find out like the percentage of the illness with the help of these kind of devices, and this is basically our AI device, right? So this is the one. The same way for the complete infrastructure. Look at here. So the public large data set, because so we need to compare the, for example, if I'm taking a patient A information, I want to check with the existing database information, then only I can decide whether this guy is impacted or not, right? So the same way here, actually, the new data, already we have all the data. So we are recording the information and collecting, cough collecting and cough detection, and cough evaluation and diagnosis. This expert actually will find out that. So the feature extraction. So basically, this cough classification by the deep learning is a very inner part. So if you want, we can go further later point of time. So the expert find out opinion. So what kind of the treatment we can take it up. This is a block diagram, a simple block diagram, understanding the diagnosing the cough and the overall picture. This is a very important thing actually. This one, because of the COVID, actually people have started innovating the new things, but this specific the solution, it can be helped for the next level problem statement as well, solution for problem for next level solution as well. And this one is a patient monitoring. I'm not sure, in earlier the program as well, we have discussed about the patient monitoring system, because the patient is taking a treatment from home. Okay, so we cannot sustain with that, keeping that patient in the hospital, right? And the affordability is really high. So that what we used to do, we take the patient and we'll keep them in home, and we can set up all the required information, and that has been completely monitoring by the medical officers from clinic, right? So here it is actually a simple house, encrypted home storage. So here we have a complete behavior of the patient, and here the ECG and infections rate, and how much what kind of how much completely monitoring the sleep timing for the person, and then the medication, what are the tablets and drugs is handling, all the information, right? And so we can understand the outside temperature and outside environment of the specific the home system. So all the information has been it's transmitted to the cloud and then stored into a data base. So the things will be analyzed over there, and there is a separate personalized inventory has been sent back to the patient's home for the critical situation and giving the treatment, or else it has been through the mobile app or devices. So we can give the instruction to the patient saying that, somebody is taking care of the patients. So we can give the instruction to them and do this way, that way we can give the suggestion for immediate attending the patients. No need to take that patient into the hospital and give the treatment at all. So this specific patient monitoring is improving recently, and very soon it's going to be applicable. It's going to be applied in different even in India they're planning to do that, right? So it's the affordable price actually they're planning to give, because we need to install all the equipment in the home, and then again we need to transmit the data into the cloud, and we need the analytics and give the solution for the problems whatever is doing. Is there any critical thing? No, we have to take the patient, but 80% is fine, or 75% is fine. The patients can take that the treatment from home itself. So that is the idea of patient monitoring system. And this is also the another way of doing that. So the patients has to give that weight and healthcare, the blood pressure, everything has been transferred to the through the mobile app. So that has been given to the healthcare professional. So they basically the application has been built to give the instruction. So these guys actually healthcare professionals need to validate that and giving the proper solution. And one more step further, we don't want any personal healthcare professionals there. The system itself decide what kind of the treatment, what kind of advice we can give that back to the not a patients basically. So a normal person suddenly have a headache or some pains and all. So I have to give that my details so that the system will take the information, then pass on to my system which is residing in the server. So that will back to the giving the suggestion saying that better you take this tablet, or else take some the yoga or some mudra, whatever it is, so that will be improved a lot. And so that the specific person not need to be not to be coming to the clinic and get that waiting for as an outpatient and meet the doctor and get the prescription, get the tablets, anything. So on this part, So you can go and like registered information and what are the information asking specific chatbot, something like that, so that that will pass on and we'll get the outcome, and we can. So this is for small issues we can sort out. Okay, and this is healthcare reports perspective. So as I mentioned earlier, so once we are going there, then that has been like a completely we have a patient questionnaires and medical history and laboratory history, everything will be there. So that has been analyzed. So the data will be available across the nation, probably, like. So if it is going to be in US or UK and Europe, so wherever you go, just you give the number, then what wherever you like, you can pick up that in details, and what are the treatment you undergone, what are the drugs you are had, all the information will be there, so that the doctors and the healthcare specialists can diagnose your system and then can recommend for the further treatment and drugs for you. All right. So all these things nowadays we are as a software as a medical device. So SAMD or SAMD, right? So we have the cloud computing. In the cloud computing, we just deviating from the discussion here. Basically, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, data as a service, and platform as a service. So there are so many services in IT industries. We are undergoing that. We are adapting that as well. The same way, the software as a medical device this is nothing but our AML. Okay, this is nothing but our AML. Simple easy. As I showed some pictures, right? Some functionality, the cough detection or patient monitoring, water radiology, everything is a software as a medical device. That is nothing but AM capability, right? So since it's the specific, because actually we are providing as a software for separate industry, but specific to this, like I can call out like a software as a manufacturing devices or software as a retail devices, whatever it is. So I can rename it. I can like giving the luxury name for my AML solutions. I can say it's a software as a medical devices. So nowadays, actually, the people are started doing so many applications, right? And then they are providing in the form of small app accessible through your mobile, and that has been connected with your server. And so, as I mentioned earlier example, right? So you can probably you may have like some weight loss or something, like you have some issues or something like that. So the app will ask some questionnaire, then you have to give the proper answer, honest answer, so that that information taken to the system, and the system will give it back to the solution. That is nothing but what is a kind of software, but internally what is that is AML, right? So this specifically for speed up the discovery and treatment of the wide range of medical issues. Okay, so this specific recently it has been called out is in separate name, because the AML is just for a core, the backbone, but on top of that we need to build the other application and the layers and put up that it's a kind of like giving what is that? So giving something some dishes. For example, if you are going to order some the fruitful dishes at in restaurant, so they will give that the core one, and we have it has been decorated with the multiple things, and they are served to you. So I cannot give that directly to the algorithm or exposing algorithm to the consumers. So that has been through some application building that, getting the input and giving back to the system. I mean, like a consumer. So that's why actually all these AML solutions nowadays we are calling out as a software as a medical devices with respect to healthcare industries. Okay, right. So here, what are the combination components? So medical purpose for the patients, and we have a software, right? And we have a hardware, and build up all the things. So we can say this is going to be a medical. So like what's a software as a medical device. And one more thing, we have software in medical device. Okay, don't confuse you guys. So I'm just shopping with this SAMD or SAMD, right? So we can call it out, and the functionality will be like this way. This is a very simple thing. We have seen some sample over there. So data has been transferred. User interface, obviously I said, right? So user interface we need, and the application API exposed and embedded software will be taken to the sensor, and this has been like the patient's information users. So we'll get the information, we'll get back information, and the final solutions which can be transferred to the patients. So here, for example, nowadays we have a glucose blood glucose test monitor, right? So we have a small device, just one drop of blood. If you put on that device, that immediately will get your blood glucose information on the display, right? This is a classical example, but that is actually what is that? Everything, all the solution built in inside the inside your device. But one step further, it's showing number 110 or 190 or 200, whatever the number display. What we are doing, actually, we are going back and checking like whether it is a high glucose or low glucose, or it's okay or fine or critical, whatever it is. So we need to analyze that, right? So I am looking something of the component devices will come up in future that will transmit the data, whatever the displaying, and again we have to get the few more inputs, whether it's before like a fasting or after taking a food. So two times we have to take the test. Then the system will give the proper the glucose for fasting or after fasting. So those information will be given that really help us. Otherwise, that will give some display at this moment. Generally, we are using. So those kind of devices also in the market. So that will give the classical the outcome. So the patients can understand what is the glucose level from his blood. Okay. And the functional block, it's not a big deal. The patient's data, the lab result, or images, or medical device data, or psychological like status or symptoms, or whatever it is, right? As I mentioned here, if I am feeling the headache or like I'm feeling some edinance or whatever it is, so the inputs have been taken to the SAMD algorithm. So the algorithm will take that inputs and right, finding that regression algorithm, classical algorithm, so many things are there. But for this specific, even we can build the new algorithm. That's a very important thing. That is a core that, okay? Because the algorithm, why we can build that, even for normal problem statement, we used to write algorithm, then we're giving a solution. The same way, so getting the input, then we need to build the specific algorithm, like what is that? User-defined or like use cases specific algorithm we can write, and that algorithm can be applied to giving the solution for this kind of the problems. And then the output can be like the output from in form wise or drive or diagnose the treatment, what kind of the next things, action items we can take it up. So that specific the SAMD will give the solution. And internally, we need to build that reference data, knowledge base, rules, criteria. That's also very important, because without that, we cannot decide anything, right? So the system is giving you like my glucose, blood glucose device is saying like 120 or 130 during the fasting. So I need to go and check that whether it is actually really reference data. I'm searching for some reference data, but my SAMD, what will take? It will take the reference data and the knowledge and rules and criteria, and it will immediately give the output to you guys. I mean, like the display, you can see that, hey, right, I'm in normal glucose level. Okay, right, I'm in border, I'm in critical. Okay, I need to take what are the next action step I need to take. Further, the products we can build that. Okay, so that is the idea, and this is a block diagram, the functional block for this one. And this specific slide talks about again. The software that analyzes the personalized the patient's information, determine the correct drugs dosage, and medical software that operates on general purpose platforms such as a patient's digital camera. So there might be a switching on the camera so that you can diagnose. But nowadays it's really challenging. But these kind of diagnose through the camera, like the patients doesn't need to be present in the clinic. So they can show up that through the video conference call. So doctor will be there call, but the quality of the camera and quality of the technology will be huge. So typically this is actually finding something like some defects. So instead of touching the patients, they can give the treatment. They can check the patients through the system, because this was happened during the COVID, right? So even actually, if I called during that time, the doctors in UK and all, doctor said, okay, no need to come to the clinic, okay. So please like come up for the video conference call, so that we have to talk, we have to say, and we have to start doing like breathing, how we are breathing, and they'll diagnose properly. The intermediate system will diagnose, and it will give the proper translate how physically we are presenting in front of the doctors, and that kind of effect will be given to the doctors actually. So the doctors will prescribe some drugs or whatever it is. Then you can take that. What is that? The drugs we can go ahead. Okay. So ultimately, as I mentioned, that the generating the insight from the digital devices, the risk of the patient's experience. So we can give a lot of solutions to them. So one step further, I want to say that actually there was AR, and coming to the picture, there's augmented reality helping medical era. How? See now. எவ்வளவு நேரம்